Autism Fitness founder Eric Chessen leading the movement for movement here with your Autism Fitness Tuesday training. And in this very particular episode, we're going to be talking about progression. When is it time for autism and neurodivergent athletes to step up, move up, and have a new and greater challenge in a particular exercise? Before I get to that, I want to tell you a little bit more about the Autism Fitness Level 1 certification. So, if you are a professional, let me go through the list right now. BCBA, RBT, OT, PT, that's a lot of letters. Fitness professional, what else do we have here? Recreation therapist, special educator, adapted PE professional, a parent or family member who wants to implement the best possible, most practical, meaningful, and effective fitness programs and adapted PE programs for the autism and neurodivergent population, then you, my friend, soon to be friend, need the Autism Fitness Level 1 certification. You can start at any time, and then you, in addition to your 15 plus hours of online self-paced training, get to work with me directly during your full day virtual practical, in which you get the hands-on, feet on, brains on training that you and your athletes deserve. If you're learning about fitness and movement, it makes clear and complete sense to have a practical component where you are actually practicing so that you know how to implement these programs safely and effectively. So, moving on to progression. We spend a lot of time doing the same things in autism fitness programming because our athletes need a lot of the same in order to master those movement patterns. And now that mastery component is going to be the key to what we're talking about today. Once an athlete is capable of performing an exercise at what we call standard level. So, for example, the standard for our sandbell overhead press is 3 sets of 10 repetitions performed independently. Why? What is the reasoning? What is the justification behind that? Well, if the athlete can perform 3 sets independently, that means without any prompting or additional cueing or support, it means that they have mastered the movement pattern. It means that both physiologically and cognitively, from both a neurological and a neuromuscular perspective, the athlete understands and is capable of executing or performing that movement with good technique, safely and effectively. Effectively meaning that the exercise is controlled, it is going through a full range of motion, and the athlete is deriving as much physical benefit as they can possibly get from that exercise. When that is the case, then we can progress. Now, here are some of the times in which we don't progress. We don't progress simply because X amount of time has elapsed. So, saying, oh, we've been doing this exercise for 2 or 4 or 6 or 8 weeks, or we've been doing this exercise for 2 or 4 or 6 or 10 months at this level. That's fine. Now, we do want to do some questioning as to, do we need to fade back a prompt, or is there something else that we need to implement with respect to our coaching? All things that you get in your level 1 certification, of course. But many of our autism and neurodivergent athletes need a lot of time and a lot of practice with the same exercise at the same level of progression, or rather the same level of modification where we simplify an exercise so that they can master it. There is no, I repeat, no good point or valid point in progressing an exercise simply because that time has elapsed. We progress it when the athlete is ready to progress. Adding more weight, adding more repetitions, making it more challenging is not going to do anything at all to enhance the rate at which they acquire the skill or to enhance the skill itself. We're looking at 3 things. We're looking at adequate range of motion, like full range of motion through the movement. We're looking at control of the movement, and we're looking at enough repetitions that we're going to cause a, say it with me now, my favorite term, training effect, where the exercise actually does something, producing more strength, more stability, more motor planning, etc. So from there, if it's not just about the timing, what's another reason why we wouldn't progress it? So sometimes, oh, what if the athlete gets bored, right? And boredom, we can go into another direction, but is it more that the coach is starting to nod off during that set because it's been the same thing over and over? Or is it the athlete is truly getting bored with the exercise? So most of the time when it's a quote boredom issue, what we can do instead is we can give the athlete choice over what exercise they want to do first, second, third, and just having that autonomy or that control over choosing the order of the exercise can alleviate that boredom thing. Again, we're not going to change the exercise just for the sake of variety, because ultimately our goal is what? To get the athlete performing better in that movement pattern with that exercise so that it generalizes to activities of daily living. And we're not going to do that effectively if we keep changing things up. We don't have enough time or practice with the skill acquisition. So now we get to the times where we do progress. So that athlete has performed this particular exercise for 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps, whatever our standard is. And that, of course, is something that you get in your level 1 certification. Dog is chewing on a bone in the background. I'm not editing this, so you're gonna hear a little bit of bone chewing in the background, but it's definitely better than barking. So we would progress when the athlete is capable of doing more. That could be more repetitions. It could be more weight. It could be more it could be more work capacity too. So getting more movement in during that particular session or during those 2 exercises and pairing them together with less rest time. But we have to understand what is the purpose of what we're doing here. Are we making it different just to make it different, or are we progressing because the athlete has, in fact, acquired, mastered that skill so they're ready for more of a challenge? And that is the basis of everything we do with linear periodization, meaning that over time, we increase, and over time, meaning at the athlete's current pace, we increase the challenge level of that exercise so that it continues to benefit the athlete. So that is a little bit on when we progress an exercise. It's not about variety. It's not about arbitrary, let's add this. It's about this is time because the athlete has demonstrated this level of skill. I'm Eric Chessen, founder of Autism Fitness, leading the movement for movement. Please like, subscribe, and even share this with other people. It's okay, you saw it first. They'll think you're cool. And if you are ready to become an Autism Fitness Level 1 certified pro anywhere in the world at any time, head on over to autismfitness.com and you can learn more, or you can register right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll come to you again next week with another Autism Fitness Tuesday training.